He's asking total T900 NGDL, SHBG 105 NMOL, not on TRT. Any recommendations? Okay. Your issue right now is your total testosterone is at the higher end of the range. So your body is obviously very capable of making healthy levels of testosterone, but your sex hormone binding globulin is 105. And when you have high sex hormone binding globulin, you wind up with lower levels of free testosterone, okay? So what this means is that most testosterone that your bodies make are bound to this protein called sex hormone binding globulin, or SHBG, okay? And when it is bound to this enzyme, it's considered, at least up until recently, because now anyways, they're starting to realize that maybe it might not be the case as much as we thought, but when it's attached to this enzyme, it's typically considered to be biologically inactive, okay? So the body will make testosterone, it gets bound to this enzyme called SHBG, and SHBG will transport the testosterone throughout the body, delivering it into the target tissue, okay? Once the testosterone has become unbound from SHBG, now it is considered biologically active, okay? So that is a testosterone that has impact in the body, okay? So if you got a total testosterone of 2,000 and your free testosterone is 2, you're gonna feel like shit, okay? You'll have no, like, the free testosterone is what counts. Okay, so your doctors out there that are only measuring total testosterone and aren't measuring SHBG and aren't measuring free testosterone, you don't know what the hell you're doing, okay? Because I can get 10 guys with a total testosterone of 900 and they're all going to feel completely different. Their free testosterone levels are all going to be completely different. Some of them might feel like some of them might actually be jocks, and some of them can barely get out of bed, okay? So there's two schools of thought here, Simon the amputee. One school of thought is try to lower sex hormone binding globulin completely. Not lower it completely, but focus on lowering sex hormone binding globulin. Some people have got that accomplished by taking something like Proviron, which is scripted in many parts of the world, sometimes even over the counter in many parts of the world. We don't really see it in Canada. We don't see it a ton in the US. Usually the US is more like kind of underground. Even something like boron can help. You can even just do a quick little search, ways to lower SHBG. There's even some foods and some different things that can affect it. So you can try to lower that a little bit. The thing is that there's a lot of guys that were saying, oh, you can lower SHBG. So let me just lower it as low as we can get, because then I'll wind up with a much more free testosterone and I'll feel a hell of a lot better on what dose that I have. And that's not necessarily a good thing. Low levels of sex hormone binding globulin, we have studies that demonstrate it's an indicator of early mortality, okay? So typically healthier guys will have higher levels of sex hormone binding globulin. Now, if you want to, okay, it's true, you're not on TRT. I'll just mention this because I have it fresh in my head. If somebody is on TRT, has a total testosterone 900 with an SHBG of 105 and you want to bring it down, you want to be doing injections once a week. Okay, you want to be doing one big huge injection once a week. That's going to drive down your SHBG. Okay, so testosterone is suppressive of SHBG. Conversely, estradiol, believe it or not, it raises SHBG. Okay, so if you're on if you got high SHBG on TRT, one shot a week is going to suppress it more than if you were doing small daily shots. Small daily shots is still suppressive, but not as suppressive as doing it once a week. Okay, keep that in mind. So you can actually modulate SHBG a little bit depending on your frequency of injection. So keep that in mind. Okay. Conversely, if you're on TRT and you have estradiol that's rock bottom, don't take injections once a week. First of all, you'll never feel stable, and second of all, you'll be driving it down even more. Okay, and most definitely don't block estradiol if you've got low HCG, because that's one of the things that's going to bring it up. Okay, so again, one school of thought was the Proviron and the boron and some of the other things you can look online. Certain foods apparently. But another thing that the doctors will do is they won't lower SHBG, But what they'll do instead is they will keep raising dose to overpower the SHBG, okay? So what I'm trying to say is, let's say you've got 900 nanograms per deciliter. Let's see if I can do this free testosterone calculator. I'll do the math really quick. Okay, so let's say your SHBG is 105 and your total testosterone is 900, okay? That leaves you with a free testosterone of about 8.7, okay? Now, 8.7 free testosterone, if you're in 20 or 30s, you're not gonna feel too good, okay? So what they will do then is they'll say, we're not gonna try to lower your SHBG purposely. What we're gonna do is we'll put you on TRT and get your levels way higher, okay? Again, two very different schools of thought. And if you put these two guys in a room, they're going to argue each other to death. I'm just explaining what the two sides are. So if you got your levels up to 1,800 nanograms per deciliter total, your free testosterone now falls to about 21.8, which is a hell of a lot better than the 8 you had before. The thing is that the once weekly shots you would be on would also start driving down SHBG a little bit, which means your free testosterone come up, and you can eventually lower your dose a little bit. So there's two schools of thought. Is there one that's more correct than the other? I don't know. Like I said, I have seen enough documentation and literature to suggest you don't necessarily want to take drugs to lower SHBG too much. It's not a good idea. Simply raise dose to compensate. It's been generally the rule of thumb among probably most of the physicians I deal with. Okay, so I hope that answers your question.
Consider becoming a channel member for exclusive features, like loyalty badges, early access to new videos, funny stuff like rough cuts and bloopers, members only photos and status updates on the community tab, and members only live stream chat. On desktop, use the join button next to the subscribe. On mobile, use the join link in the description.